just wanted to show a demonstration of a gamified immersive learning environment. The application that I've chosen is based on developing a training course for nurses to better understand the medical condition known as trigger finger and some potential hazard situations in the home and some opportunities for treatment and the types of people who tend to be more vulnerable to this condition. So this interactive immersive quiz begins with an opening page which provides a bit more information about trigger finger and how it happens and what the cause is. And to participate in this interactive quiz, the learner clicks on the opening screen and they're immediately taken to an introductory page, which is an immersive picture of a property, a house, a garden. And to begin with, the trainees are given an opportunity to understand what the quiz is about, how to use it, and also to find a bit of background. So this trigger finger overview is a link to a YouTube video which was created by the Mayo Clinic. So I'll just play a little section of that to begin with. So the learner can interrupt that quiz at any time, and you may notice there's a red bar at the bottom of the screen. Now this shows a process, and one of the things about gamification is providing feedback to learners. So in the top right hand corner, it shows how much time they have remaining to complete this quiz. It shows the score, it shows how many questions they found and answered, and how many of the 12 hotspots they found. It also provides information about each individual page, and you can see in this quiz there are 3 scenes and 2 hotspots in this scene, and at the moment there's no score. So to take this quiz I have to navigate round, and what I can see immediately are 2 hotspot areas which are annotated by this transparent screen and a question. So I'll click on the question. I know that pre-running is more prone in women, so I click on that answer, and that automatically updates my score. So I've actually got 3 points now out of 5. Now I'll get my other 2 points by clicking on the 2 hotspots that are on the scene. So I'm beginning by clicking on this hotspot, and it tells me that it's a kitchen view hotspot. Click to enter, which means that when I click, I go inside the kitchen environment. And my task here is to look around and find hotspots. Now I do this by moving my mouse around until I come across a hotspot. And this is a tin opener hotspot hazard. I click on that and it gives a bit more information of why this is a hazard. It's a butterfly can opener and requires hand actions that could affect trigger finger. So I'm moving on. There's a jam jar up there, and I know that undoing jam jars with lids kind of also affect trigger fingers. So I click on that, and that's a correct answer. So at the moment I got 14, and I've now found 3 out of the 12 hotspots. Now there are 5 hotspots here, and I scored 10 out of 25 here, and I rotate round holding the mouse button down, and I can get some more information. I'm warned that there is only 1 minute left, so I need to move fairly quickly. It tells me a bit about trigger fingers. I move around again, and I can see that there's a hotspot there, which is going to the garden, but there's also another one in the kitchen, which is a medical conditions question. I know that diabetes and arthritis are conditions that increase the risk of trigger finger, so I click on OK for that, and I can get immediate feedback that those 2 answers are right. So now I know there's 2 more hotspots, one to go back to the aerial view and one to go into the garden. So we're rapidly running out of time. I'll try and find hotspots in the garden. I've got a question here that I can answer. I know pruning, planting and weeding are risk factors. I've got them correct. And now I've run out of time. Part of the reason for running out of time was because I watched the beginning video in the beginning and I was explaining things as I go along. So I can now view my score, and this shows the dashboard that says I found 5 out of the 12 items. I got all 3 questions right that I took, and I've got a score of 37. So I'm able to repeat the quiz now, and because I've got an idea of how it works, when I repeat it, it goes back to the beginning, the loading page, and to save time, I no longer need to spend time listening to the video or reading the text. I can go straight into the quiz, and my clock started again, so I'm right at the very beginning. Now that I know what's happening, I can go straight to the trigger finger question, answer that, go into the kitchen. I know where these hotspots are now. I just need to find them and click on them. That's the tin opener. That's the jam jar. I also need to click on the hotspot, which is the information button, simply to to complete all of the hotspots. So that tells me a bit more about the risk factors. And I go round and I'll go to the medicine. It's diabetes and arthritis. Click on that. Okay. And I'm getting confirmation by noises that the clicking has worked, and I've gone back to the tour knowing that my hotspots are done. So now I'm clicking on the garden view, and here I know it's scene 3 of 3. I haven't got any score here, but my score overall has increased to 28, and I've actually answered 2 out of the 3 questions, and I found 5 hotspots. So I've got another 7 hotspots to find. I know this is one of them because gripping and using shears can affect trigger finger. I can go to this question here, and this is the other question. I know that pruning, planting and weeding, because they involve gripping motions, I know that they increase the risk, and I get feedback in the form of very good. Now what's this garden hose hotspot? Using a garden hose causing no problems. Congratulations on finding it. Actually, I found it, so I get 1 point for finding the hotspot, but it doesn't increase my score any more than that 1 point. Moving around the garden, and I can see these transparent areas to go to the aerial view. And I've got one more hotspot here. The gardener's carrying a heavy canister, and that also explains that carrying a heavy canister for long periods could affect the trigger finger. So now I'm going to complete my hotspots here, or to nearly complete them. I need to go back into the kitchen. And here I've answered all 3. I've got 9 out of 12 hotspots. I've got 48 points. So I need to go back to the aerial view, which will add 1 to the hotspot score. Here I've got 4 out of 5, and I know that if I click on the garden view again, that I will have completed my hotspots here. So now I've got 11 out of 12 hotspots, all questions answered. The only thing to do is to find this hotspot to go back to my original view. And so I've found 12 items, I've completed the 3 scenes, and I've got all 3 questions right, and I've done it within 3 minutes 14 seconds with a total score of 51. So this is just a very simple example of creating an immersive interactive quiz using gamification in the form of scores, progress bars, etc. If you're interested in creating your own immersive interactive tour with gamification elements, please do not hesitate to get in touch. Thank you.